Hi guys, this is OMGitsNeil, and this is the real reason why Modern Warfare 2019 is failing. I'm going to start off with a phrase that I heard many years ago, and it goes like this. If you put a monkey in a tuxedo, it's still a monkey. And I know you're probably thinking now, well, what the hell does that mean? Don't worry, all will be explained. So, as we know, in the last few days, we've had the new Season 1 launch, and we've had Crash DLC free to download. And for those of you that remember Crash from Call of Duty 4 and Modern Warfare 2, it was one of the most fun maps that Call of Duty has released. It was a massive fan favourite. I don't know many people, if any, that dislike this map. I think everybody loved it. So after playing it for a couple of days, I have found out some home truths about Modern Warfare just from playing this map. So rewinding a few weeks or maybe a month, shortly after Modern Warfare come out and we was finding all these problems with the game, the map design has become possibly the main topic of conversation for a lot of YouTubers regarding why the game is failing, and I failed to find any real videos on this apart from the map design. There were a few smaller updates that people were suggesting, but mostly they think the game is failing based around the maps, saying that it gives people a chance to camp. All this time I have been actually praising the map design. I've been saying the maps aren't badly designed. I quite like the maps on Modern Warfare. What I don't like is things like the spawns, the 725 being overpowered and claymores being overpowered. You can see a list of things in my previous video if you want to go and check that out. So for the last month or so, I've been saying that the maps ain't that bad, you know, like all my friends are saying, no, the maps are horrible, they're not good. And I've been saying, no, the maps aren't that badly designed, they're pretty good maps. What it is the little things in the game that let the game down. Things like the spawns. If the spawns worked properly, the maps would play well. If the UAV worked properly, people would be less prone to camping. Things like that make people play differently with different play styles. So I'm not making an unbelievable statement saying that the maps are not to blame. Obviously me saying the maps are actually not too bad in Modern Warfare is just my personal opinion. Obviously there's a lot of people out there who think it's solely down to the maps, and they're obviously going to disagree with me. But personally, this is just what I think. I think the maps are okay. I think if they changed the spawns up to make, you know, a big update to the spawns, make the spawns a bit more stable just so you push towards the enemy base and it doesn't flip and spawn you all over the map. They're a bit more rigid and almost a bit more predictable. I think that would help. The UAV, I feel like, would stop people from playing as defensively as they are. As you can probably see in this gameplay, and you've probably noticed on Crash, it doesn't feel like it used to back in the old days. It's not as enjoyable. People aren't running around like headless chickens. It just doesn't feel like Crash to me, at least. This is what the impression that I've got of it over the last few days. It doesn't feel like Crash. It doesn't feel like it did on Modern Warfare, the first Modern Warfare. It doesn't feel like it felt on Modern Warfare 2. It's just lost that bit of enjoyment that you used to get out of it, and I think that is down to how the people are playing the game. But the reason I think people are playing the game this way is because this is what's been offered up to them. They've been almost funneled into playing the game this way. So if you look at this here, this is sort of a prime example. This guy is just sort of sitting down in the corner, he's mounting the corner. You know, he's not really moving, he's just sort of spawned, found his spot, and then he's just waiting for people. This is the gameplay that Modern Warfare sort of funnels you into because of things like the minimap not working like the old style minimap. If the minimap showed red dots when they make a kill, when the enemy makes a kill, it would force people to move around a bit more. Like, yeah, you may look at this gameplay and say, well, hang on a minute, Neil, you're using cover. Yeah, you're moving a bit, but you're still using cover. You're still using, some head camping spots. But this is the thing. I don't spawn and go straight for the first building and hunker down, which is what a lot of people tend to do on Modern Warfare. I tend to play I play aggressive camping. That's what I call my style. So I basically move. I'll walk around the map, but I'll use cover, but I'll constantly be moving. Sometimes I do stay in a spot for a few seconds, but then I move again. But people aren't seeming to do this on Modern Warfare. The game seems to cater more to people sitting down in one spot, hunkering down, and not moving until they die. And then when they spawn in, they go straight to the first spot they can find, first building, first window, whatever, and then hunker down again. The game doesn't seem to cater to people who want to run and gun. It seems like there's sort of almost a big disadvantage if you're a player who's very mobile. Not unlike myself. Like I said, I do tend to use spots, use cover. I'm not the quickest person moving around the map, I'll admit that. I'll be the first to admit that. But even moving around in my playstyle, I do find it difficult. Like here, you can see me trying to kill this guy in the building, and it's just not really going well for me. I'm trying to push and be aggressive on him, but in the end, he gets the better of me, and it's just not a very good style of play, in my opinion. I feel like people enjoy themselves when they're able to run around a bit more freely without being shot from every window. What I did notice on this map as well is if you look at any of the old CODs, when you play Crash, that middle part by the helicopter is an absolute kill fest. There's people running around everywhere like headless chickens. It's insane. Yeah, you die a lot, but it's a lot more enjoyable. And I believe that is down to the games that it's on. I believe the reason it's not like that on this game is because of the game itself. And this is basically the point of my video. What I said at the start, if you put a monkey in a tux, it's still a monkey. If the core game is not functioning to the majority of the community, just by putting a couple of the old fan favourites on the game, it isn't going to fix everything. Because if the game at its heart is broken, then, or like I said, the style of the game is funneling people into this, move into a spot, hide, hunker down, they're going to play like that on the new map. They're not going to instantly go back to playing how people used to play on Call of Duty 4 or Modern Warfare 2, where everyone's all of a sudden more aggressive and it's more enjoyable. So I do think, like I said in my list of updates, I think the thing that needs to be done is some smaller updates. I'm not talking huge, I'm just talking things like the minimap. I know they have no intentions of changing it, we've seen that in the interview videos, but they really, really should consider it, because just something as simple as that is just going to force people to move that little bit more. They're then talking about the reason the minimap is like that is to cater for the, newer players. The thing that boggles my mind is when I first started playing Call of Duty, I was awful at it, but I still enjoyed it. But over time I got better. And then a few years after they released Call of Duty 4, which was where I started, they released Black Ops 1 and introduced combat training, which was specifically designed for newer players to get used to the feel of, get used to the transition between single player and multiplayer, which I thought was a fantastic idea. And then you had, in a lot of the Call of Duties, Boot Camp, which was a game mode only available for people between rank 1 and 20, I believe it was. So instead of making the game solely based around these newer players, why not make it based around everyone like every year it has been, and add these extra bits in so newer players can make the transition. So anyway, yeah, that's all I have to say about Crash. The map itself is good, but again, I think there's more to it than just the map design. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave a like and a comment if you agreed, and follow me on Twitch, and I will see you soon. Peace.